You can turn on almost anything, the news, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. They'll all tell you they're eating a healthy meal. But what does that mean? What does that mean to you? What does that mean to me? What is your definition of healthy? Let's talk about that today, because apparently there are a lot of definitions of healthy, which some may work for you, some may not. But first, I'm Chip. This channel is CP59Fit. I'm hoping you can see my shirt I bought when I was at Joel Salatin's farm, Polyface Farm. I also bought some eggs and some, I don't remember what it was, chuck steak, beef, ribeye, something like that. It was all rather good though. I hope to get back down there when I'm in that part of Virginia again. Anyway, this channel is about unconventional healthy living strategies. I am an almost 10-year survivor of a massive stroke that led me down a path to getting healthy. And today, as I reinforce what this channel is all about, and we get into our growth phase, I want you, the viewer, to define what healthy is to you, even if it's an unconventional healthy living strategy like I tend to use. I have whittled down, tried this, tried that. I mean, how many of us haven't lost the same 30 pounds multiple times by doing anything and everything under the sun? Because we thought it would make us healthy, or we thought it would make us happier, or something like that. But in fact, if you will, just stop right now and tell me in the comments below what you think healthy means to you. It doesn't have to fit anybody else's definition. That's one reason this is unconventional healthy living strategies, because we can each do what works for us. And the deeper I get into this quagmire, the more I realize that the same answer doesn't work for everybody. So I want to be open-minded, and I want to be open to suggestions. But some things I've tried I know don't work real well for me specifically. Of course the clouds are coming over and the room's getting darker. Anyway, I'm gonna stay on track. Like I said, I'm Chip. This channel's CP59Fit. Because when I made the name, I had 59 pounds. I was considered 59 pounds overweight, which was obese. And I think you can look at me now and you won't say I'm obese, but you won't say that I look fit or healthy. So obviously fit is the goal and healthy is the way to get there, which takes us back to the age-old question of the chicken and the egg. And I think I finally figured out that one. But this question is, do you get healthy to lose weight, or do you lose weight to get healthy? So which one precipitates the other? And is that the same for everybody? And I can't say yes or no to that. So I'm not here as your guru. I'm here as a person going through the same struggles, same challenges as you, trying to find my way and trying to share what's worked for me and is working for a whole lot of people. I mean a whole lot. I go to conferences with people that eat this way, and there's, excuse me, I didn't get a drink. There's 300 or 400 people in the room. No, they don't all look healthy, but there are definitely some healthy looking people in there. And why do I say that? They don't look healthy. Here again, what is healthy? And can somebody else see it in you? And I think to a certain aspect, that answer is yes. Someone can look at you sort of, and well, they don't look at you sort of. They can look at you and sort of tell whether they think you're healthy or not. But I've also heard that if you're criticizing somebody, you're really criticizing that attribute of yourself. So, you know, if you say, oh, that person don't look healthy because they're overweight, then it's probably because you're overweight or you were overweight. So, if that makes any sense, you know. I don't know. I'm going to stop saying you know. I hate it when people say you know. But I think a lot of us judge based on maybe if they have good hair, nice hair, clear skin, nice skin, whatever your definition of nice skin is, a good tan, a quote-unquote fit body, then we think they're healthy. But is that an accurate description? And that's something you're going to have to figure out for yourself, like I've had to figure it out for myself. And I would have to say, I didn't write this down in advance, so let me try to clearly enunciate what I think of as healthy. And it's not a cookie cutter definition, that's for sure. Again, I'm unconventional, and I have gone to the basically carnivore, but I think I may need to start calling myself a ketovore, because I did get some new information this past week. And because I'm going to ketovore because of a particular situation in my body that may not be in yours. And I don't believe there's any essential carbs or plant products that you have to eat. But I may decide or choose, life is about choices. So I may choose to add in some soluble fiber because I had a stroke. I think I mentioned it earlier in the intro. I had a stroke almost 10 years ago, and they found that I had a fully occluded internal right carotid artery. Now, on my test at the beginning of 24, I had been able to get some flow back in 23, but my test in 25, apparently it had closed back off, which I'm going to consider is soft plaque, which is actually the most dangerous kind because it can break and cause a clot. But because of that, I am doing pretty much anything I can this year, like I did in 23, to get it reopened for my test in 26. And that's another question. Is health achievable, or is it a moving target? Or is it something you can attain and then lose again by getting lax or going back? And I'll tell you, in 23, I cut out almost every fried food and every vegetable oil. I call them seed oils because they're really not from vegetables. They're from the seeds of the vegetables. The corn we eat is not a vegetable, it's the seed, which you can grow more corn from. And they're processed in petroleum manufacturing plants. Just like the car, the oil, the gas, probably the oil too, that goes into your car. If you drove past a vegetable oil manufacturing plant or you drove past a petroleum plant from the outside, you couldn't tell the difference. I haven't been in either or both of them, so I can't tell you if they look different on the inside, but the pictures and the videos I've seen, it's quite a process, and it really is nothing left of what went in. And my personal belief is that vegetable oils oxidize, which is like the rust on your car, your LDL cholesterol, which makes it shrink, which then when you have what they call a fissure, like a scratch on your vein, which is probably caused by sugar or other carbohydrates, then that little tiny, what they call very low density LDL can stick. And then your body makes basically what's called a scab over the calcium, the calcification, the stenosis of your arteries. Well, the one that goes, is that my right side? Yeah. Goes up here and apparently to my eye is blocked somewhere down here. And I need to get that back open. So in 23, I cut out all seed oils because I'd seen a doctor in Arizona whose patient had opened it. A man older than me. I will be 60 in April. This man was 72. He wasn't fully occluded. He was about 93%. And he reversed it in 1 year to 27%. And the way my test was done, they didn't really tell me what percent I was at. They just said I had from 9 to 11 centimeters of flow per second, which is flow to me. And this year it said I had 0. So that's just temporary. But I guess I was starting down my definition of health. And health to me is to be able to live the best life I can live, not worrying about if I'm going to have another stroke, a heart attack, or drop dead walking down the street with friends, So that could be fancied up a lot or cleaned up a lot. And I know it's hard to come up with a definition of health, but we want to blend in freedom to that. We want to blend in finances. We want to blend in everything, and all that can be part of health. But when you see a headline that says, latest study says eat 5 blueberries a day to be healthy. Latest study says red meat causes cancer. Latest study says Honey Nut Cheerios are good for your health. Well, what is health and what are they talking about and who paid for it is the main question. Many of these things that are touted as studies are actually surveys. They are, and the name is bouncing around in my head right now. It'll come to me in a minute, but when you, if I were to send you a survey and say, okay, how many eggs did you have the last year? How many bowls of Cheerio did you have? Do you have Cheerios every morning? How many times have you smoked in the last year? How many times have you drank Coca-Cola or a sugared soft drink? And you fill it out and you send it in. They compile them all. In fact, Harvard has a big database of this, and that's how all these studies come from. Some researcher calls Harvard and says, hey, could you run your data, i.e. surveys, and tell me how many people got cancer that ate blueberries last year? And if it's low, then they come out and say, well, if you eat blueberries, you don't get cancer. But one of the main things I've learned in all this research I've done over the last 4 to 10 years, I've been carnivore for about 4.5 to 5 years, but I've actually been looking into it much more than that because I started as keto and then transitioned eventually to carnivore. But what I've learned through the research is these surveys that they call studies, and there's a word for it, epidemiological studies, which means a survey and means basically shit science, which we've had a lot of that in the last, 5 years, 6 years? And people are finding out that some of these, that every conspiracy theory about science tends to come true, so then you're not the kook anymore 5 years later once the facts come out. But this epidemiological survey crap is causing many, many people to get unhealthy. So to say that somebody's unhealthy, we have to have a definition of healthy. And healthy, I guess healthy could be I'm able to pick up my grandchild, great niece, great nephew, whatever, off the floor, set them in my lap, not be out of breath, not drop them, not fall on the floor, not squash them or land on them or hurt them. And that could be your definition of health. You know, you're healthy enough to enjoy your grandchildren, great-grandchildren, great nieces and nephews. At this point in my life, I have 12 great nieces and nephews, and the youngest are just turning 2, I think. I'm having to think about the ones I haven't actually met yet, which I probably won't meet them. Dad goes and sees them sometimes, but there was kind of a schism, is that what they call it? A break between the father, who is a nephew, and the mother, who I've never met, but Mom and Dad would go see him now that Mom's dead. Dad still gets them Christmas and birthdays and all. So there is a chance I'll meet them. And I think they are much old. They have to be older than the ones up here. I'm in Pennsylvania, by the way. And I've seen all 4 of my 2 great nephews, 2 great nieces. The nieces are about a month apart, and they're right at 5 years old. And the boys are about a month apart, and they're at about 2 years old. I think, yeah, 2 years. And I got to see all 4 of them on this trip, so that's been a big plus. I'll hit on that more and why I'm a house sitter and why I have the freedom to move around. But today I want you to think about what makes you healthy, or what you would consider health, and why you're doing what you're doing to become healthy, and how influenced you are by some headline. But I want you to, let's think a minute, you know. If a survey says people eat blueberries and they're healthy, the study says that, but the study doesn't tell you what else they ate, or if they smoke, or how much alcohol they drank, or how much they walked, or how much they slept. So I think we have to make our definition of health much broader than just eating blueberries to be healthy. You know, obesity is probably the root cause of about 95% of all chronic disease of civilization these days, because it causes inflammation. Many other things can cause inflammation, but maybe not as bad as bad intake. And you get the obesity by storing too much glucose, basically. And even though many of these studies will tell you that protein can turn into glucose, which it can, but it doesn't very often. So you got to learn all the idiosyncrasies of how your body works. And the reason the calories in, calories out, move more, eat less theories don't work is because those were done, that research was done on closed systems like furnaces or car motors. We are not a closed system, and we have lots of hormones that control, if you're low on something, your body can make sugar if you're low on it, and it will. It'll make enough to keep you functioning and probably thriving. And in that case, it might take protein to make it. But if you're consuming carbohydrates, you're not burning protein very readily. So your body and fat, the reason they say fat makes you fat is because it has 9 calories per ounce. Carbohydrates have 4 and protein have 4. But see, they don't tell you that fat, your body has a built-in mechanism to where you can't eat too much fat. It's called bile, and is it the pancreas that makes it? Or the liver? I don't know. Maybe your kidney. I don't know. Something in your body. Maybe it's the small intestine. Anyway, something in your body makes bile, and once it sees fat in your intestinal tract, I'm not sure where it sees it, but it releases it so you can digest it. And if you get too much, it can't digest it, so you just have loose stools. Yeah, that's not something we're going to talk about. So anyway, it doesn't really matter how much calories the fat has, because you're either going to burn it or excrete it. And we have to also realize that what you consume, like cholesterol, doesn't turn into serum cholesterol. And I don't want to go off on a lot of tangents here. I just want you to think about there's a whole lot more to health than a headline on nightly news or the paper or some kid on YouTube that looks like a Greek god saying, well, I'm having a healthy meal and he's having a salad with walnuts or almonds on top. That may be healthy for him, and it may be healthy at 20 when it isn't healthy at 50. So there's a lot of factors you have to think about. And I want you to think about it and write a comment down below. And if you're interested in joining me, there should be a little red, white, and blue button over in that corner where you can subscribe. But I think YouTube is going to send me the people that like my channel and want my channel, and they will find me eventually. But if you can subscribe and comment and like the video, there's a little thumbs up button. That'll help the algorithm figure out who likes my videos and who doesn't. Thank you. Have a great day. God bless. Stay healthy. Bye-bye.